If there is one thing that keeps happening, no matter how loudly Meghan's critics insist otherwise, it is this. The numbers simply refuse to cooperate with their narrative. Every few weeks, it feels like another business owner comes forward with the same incredible story. Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, wears a product, mentions a brand, or is photographed carrying something, and suddenly websites crash, inventories disappear, waiting lists grow, and small businesses experience the kind of attention they could only dream about. Today, another company has officially joined that growing list. And this isn't social media speculation. This isn't fans trying to exaggerate Meghan's influence. This isn't a marketing campaign put together by Netflix or WME. This is one of America's biggest business magazines, Inc., publishing an article explaining how one small jewelry company experienced an astonishing financial surge after Meghan wore one of its necklaces. Let that sink in for a moment. While certain British tabloids continue recycling stories claiming Meghan is irrelevant, unsuccessful, unpopular, or somehow fading into obscurity, entrepreneurs are experiencing something very different in the real world. Business owners don't measure influence with opinion polls. They measure it with sales, and sales don't lie. One of the biggest misconceptions people have is believing influence is about simply being famous. It isn't. Thousands of celebrities are famous. Thousands have millions of followers. Thousands appear on magazine covers every year. Yet very few can consistently inspire ordinary people to actually open their wallets and purchase the products they wear. That difference matters. Attention is easy. Conversion is difficult. Generating curiosity is one thing. Turning curiosity into hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue is something entirely different. That is exactly why marketers spend billions every year trying to understand consumer behavior. Brands hire expensive consultants. Companies invest fortunes into advertising campaigns. Influencers negotiate endorsement deals worth millions. Everyone is chasing that magical combination of trust, authenticity, and visibility that makes consumers act instead of simply scrolling. Then along comes Meghan. No loud commercial, no sales pitch, no discount code, no dramatic advertising campaign. She simply wears a necklace, and suddenly a small company finds itself overwhelmed with orders. That is extraordinary. According to Inc., the founder of Tiny Tags, Melissa Clayton, had spent years carefully building her business. Like countless entrepreneurs, she wasn't handed success. She didn't inherit a billion-dollar company. She didn't have unlimited venture capital. She built her brand piece by piece, customer by customer, design by design. Anyone who has ever started a business understands just how difficult that journey can be. Small business owners often work incredibly long hours. They invest their savings. They sacrifice weekends. Many don't even pay themselves during the early years. Success rarely arrives overnight. It usually comes through persistence. So imagine waking up one morning and discovering that one of the most recognizable women in the world has chosen to wear something your company created. Imagine watching your website traffic suddenly explode. Imagine notifications pouring in, orders arriving every minute, messages from customers around the world. That is exactly what happened. And according to the founder, the results were staggering. The article explains that Meghan wearing the necklace generated approximately 1.9 million Instagram views and translated into more than $586,000 in revenue. Read that number again. Nearly $600,000 from one appearance. That isn't just good publicity. That can completely transform a business. This is where reality starts becoming inconvenient for Meghan's critics. Because for years, we have heard the same talking points repeated endlessly. They say nobody likes Meghan, nobody supports Meghan, nobody wants to be associated with Meghan, nobody pays attention to Meghan.
Yet somehow, businesses continue celebrating whenever she appears wearing their products. Why? Because business owners are practical people. They don't care about online outrage. They don't care about royal gossip. They don't care about who spent 3 hours arguing on X. They care about customers. If customers buy products after Meghan wears them, then that influence becomes measurable. It becomes tangible. It becomes profitable. The marketplace doesn't have political opinions. It doesn't care who won an argument on television. The marketplace responds to consumer demand, and consumer demand continues speaking loudly. One of the most interesting parts of this story is that Tiny Tags wasn't some massive luxury conglomerate. It wasn't already dominating every department store in America. This was a relatively small business built patiently over many years. Stories like this remind us why visibility matters so much for entrepreneurs. Large corporations spend hundreds of millions of dollars buying attention. Small businesses don't have that luxury. Many rely entirely on word of mouth, organic recommendations, social sharing, community support. So when someone with Meghan's global profile wears one of their products, naturally, without it looking forced or artificial, the impact can be enormous. Consumers notice, people become curious, searches increase, orders follow. That chain reaction has happened repeatedly over the past several years. The fashion industry has even coined a term for it, the Meghan effect. And despite repeated attempts to dismiss it, the phenomenon simply refuses to disappear. Perhaps what makes Meghan's influence unique is authenticity. People often buy products because they believe someone genuinely likes them. Consumers are remarkably good at spotting forced advertising. They can usually tell when someone is reading from a sponsorship script. But Meghan has built a reputation for introducing people to smaller brands, female founders, ethical businesses, sustainable fashion labels, and independent creators. That creates trust. Customers begin thinking, if Meghan shows this herself, maybe it's worth looking into. That curiosity becomes traffic. Traffic becomes orders. Orders become revenue. Revenue creates jobs. Jobs help families. Families strengthen communities. That is the ripple effect often forgotten whenever conversations become consumed by celebrity gossip. Behind every successful small business are real people. Employees, designers, warehouse workers, customer service representatives, manufacturers, shipping teams. Every sales surge helps support livelihoods. This story is about far more than jewelry. It is about opportunity. There is also something deeply satisfying about seeing women entrepreneurs succeed together. Melissa Clayton built her company from the ground up. Meghan has consistently highlighted female-owned businesses throughout her public life. Those two stories intersecting produced remarkable results. Rather than tearing another woman down, Meghan's visibility helped elevate another woman's success. That deserves recognition. It demonstrates that influence can be used constructively. Not every celebrity story needs to revolve around scandal. Sometimes the biggest headline is simply someone helping a business grow without even saying a word. And perhaps that quiet kind of influence is the most powerful of all. Because it isn't manufactured, it isn't forced, it happens naturally. Meanwhile, somewhere in a newsroom, another columnist is probably typing out an article insisting Meghan has lost relevance. The timing could hardly be more ironic. Imagine publishing that claim while another respected business publication is documenting nearly $600,000 in additional sales generated by a single appearance. Reality has an irritating habit of interrupting narratives. Numbers don't care about agendas. Revenue doesn't care about opinion pieces. Profit doesn't read comment sections. Businesses certainly aren't going to reject hundreds of thousands of dollars because somebody on television declared Meghan finished. If anything, stories like this explain why brands continue paying attention whenever Meghan steps out in public, not because of controversy, because of commerce. There is another reason the story deserves attention, and it has nothing to do with royal drama. It is about entrepreneurship. Small businesses are the backbone of every economy. They are started by people who often have more determination than resources. They work late nights packing orders from their living rooms. They answer customer emails before breakfast. They juggle inventory, shipping, marketing, accounting, and product design, all while wondering if the next month will finally be the one where everything clicks. Most entrepreneurs never receive a lucky break. Many never get featured in national magazines. Many never trend on social media. Yet every now and then, one moment changes everything. For Tiny Tags, that moment came when Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, chose to wear one of their necklaces. Think about what that must have felt like for founder Melissa Clayton. Years of hard work. Years of believing in your vision, years of saying no to shortcuts because you wanted to build something meaningful. Then suddenly, your phone starts exploding with notifications. Your website traffic goes through the roof. Orders begin pouring in from customers all over the world. That is the kind of story every entrepreneur dreams about. Not because someone handed them success, but because years of preparation finally met an extraordinary opportunity. That's an important distinction. Meghan did not build Tiny Tags. Melissa Clayton did.
But Meghan's decision to wear the necklace opened a door that allowed millions of people to discover the brand. And once people arrived, the quality of the products did the rest. That is exactly how sustainable business growth works. One thing that fascinates me is how predictable the cycle has become. Whenever Meghan appears wearing something, there are almost always two completely different conversations taking place. The first conversation happens in sections of the British media. What was she wearing? Was she sending a message? Is this another PR stunt? What does it mean? Hours are spent trying to create controversy where there often isn't any. Meanwhile, the second conversation is happening inside boardrooms in small businesses. Did our website traffic increase? How many orders came in? Do we have enough inventory? Can our customer service team handle the demand? One conversation produces headlines. The other produces revenue. If you ask a business owner which one they prefer, the answer is probably obvious. Revenue pays salaries. Revenue keeps the lights on. Revenue allows companies to hire more people. Revenue creates opportunities. Headlines disappear after a day. A thriving business can last for generations. This is also why terms like the Meghan effect refuse to disappear. It isn't a slogan invented by fans. It has been observed repeatedly across fashion, jewelry, accessories, beauty products, and lifestyle brands. Every time someone declares the phenomenon is over, another example appears, and another, and another. Eventually, it becomes difficult to dismiss it as coincidence. Markets are surprisingly honest. Consumers spend their money where they choose. No newspaper can force someone to buy a necklace. No television commentator can convince thousands of customers to place orders. That decision belongs entirely to individual shoppers. When thousands of people independently make the same choice, economists call that consumer behavior. Businesses call it demand. The internet calls it selling out. Whatever term you use, the outcome is the same. Products move, companies grow. There is something refreshing about the fact that this latest story comes from a business publication instead of an entertainment outlet. Inc. magazine isn't covering this because it wants to fuel royal gossip. Its readers are entrepreneurs, founders, investors, people trying to build companies. They are interested in understanding why certain brands suddenly explode in popularity. They want lessons they can apply to their own businesses. That makes this story more meaningful. Instead of asking whether Meghan is winning or losing in the endless royal soap opera, the article asks a much more practical question. How did one appearance translate into hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales? That is a business case study. And judging by the numbers, it is a successful one. So congratulations to Melissa Clayton and the entire Tiny Tags team on an incredible milestone. And congratulations to Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, for once again demonstrating that influence is not measured by the volume of criticism, but the opportunities created for others. The critics may continue talking, the headlines may continue spinning, but somewhere, another entrepreneur is quietly hoping that one day Meghan might discover their product too. Because if this latest story proves anything, it's that when the Duchess of Sussex shines a spotlight on a small business, the results can be extraordinary. Sometimes the loudest response to months of negativity isn't an argument at all. It's a sales report. And those have a habit of ending debates much faster than opinion columns ever will. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.